Good evening, guys. It's Saturday, October 28th. My name is Dave Coker, and this is Talking About Finance. And hello there. It's another busy night, and yes, my band is playing again. So shortly, we're out and about. Places to go, people to meet, things to do. So instead, let's talk about our favorite subject, finance. And what can I say? Another nasty week for the S&P 500, finishing down about 2.59%. Q3 earnings coming in mixed, especially with big tech. Global events and the fog of war are all casting doubt. So investors are moving assets, or capital I should say, out of stocks and into cash, it looks like. We're not seeing any movement into bonds or even commodities at this point. Only one sector, utilities, finished up on the week. And a walloping 10 sectors finished down for the week, with energy and communication services coming in dead last. More misery for the lungs. And as you've heard before, I've been negative about October for a while now. So what happens here is sort of foretold. It tends to happen every October. The VIX finished the week right where it started, 21.27. It was up, it was down, and it finished flat. Only a couple trading days left, but October is turning out to be one wild month. The 10-year note closed at 4.83%, down 0.1%, or 10 basis points on the week, and up about 100 basis points, or 1%, year to date. Oil closed the week at 85.21, down about 3.3% on the week, and up about 6.2% year to date. And lots of Bitcoin news recently. Rumors about SEC approval of a Bitcoin ETF, but that didn't change my behavior. Yesterday was Friday, so yeah, I bought Bitcoin. It's what I've been doing for almost 10 years now, buying Bitcoin every Friday. So let's find out what me and my buddies, some 50 or so finance professionals from all around the planet, talked about last week. And who are we? Let me properly introduce us. We are Global Wall Street. And between Telegram and our personal networks on LinkedIn and WhatsApp, we know everyone, absolutely everyone, in global finance. And this week we're reporting from the City of London. We're reporting from Amsterdam. We're in Frankfurt. We're in Salt Lake City. And we're in Miami. We have people everywhere, absolutely everywhere that matters. So let's go. 7 slides for 7 days. And guys, this is the coolest thing ever. Let's get rich. So really interesting question about this. I can't remember who posted this, but is the Fed going to crash the market? Every damn time they start doing this, they crash the market. Just go back and look at prior interest rate hiking cycles. It never really ends well for anyone who's long stocks, unfortunately, because the Fed has a real problem with certain parts of the economy, and we know that certain parts of the economy are interest rate sensitive. So the Fed's already said they're going to keep interest rates higher for longer. How high are they? Well, listen to this, guys. Why on earth should you borrow with risky assets when you can get these really compelling risk-free yields, risk-free returns? 3-month T-bills, annualized 5.59%. You won't pick that up over a 3-month term, but annualized it's 5.59%. The 1-year T-bill, 5.39%. The 5-year note, 4.76%. And yes, you get 4.76 percentage return on your investment every year for 5 years. Then you get your investment returned. And the 10-year note at 4.84, down a little bit, punched above 5% earlier this week. But still, think about somebody who's 60 years old who has $10,000 or even $100,000. Why bother with risky stocks to capture a potential 7.33%, the long-run return of the stock market over the last 3 decades? Why? When you can pick up 4.84% on the 10-year note. In other words, your $100,000 will generate $4,840 per year, every year for 10 years. Oh, and at the end of 10 years, you get your $100,000 back. It's a really good question. Why mess around? with stocks, considering everything that's going on. And it doesn't really matter. When we start to look at the markets, and we can look from the July 30th highs, we can see everything is down. So yes, this is a bona fide correction. And yes, it's something that happens when the Fed pushes interest rates high, when the Fed indicates interest rates are going to stay higher for longer, when big tech earnings that's been driving the S&P 500, the Magnificent Seven, when their earnings are shaky. Oh, and there's global war going on. And don't fool yourself, guys. Both of those wars are global wars. They're just going through proxies. Yeah, lots of uncertainty in the system. Terrible situation to be in, but it is where we are. So let's see how this all plays out. And you really, when you have kids, you really have to start to teach them early, guys. And this kid's very precocious. Thought it was just a correction. Father says, no, it's terrible. It turned out to be a bear market. And they cuddle or they hug, whatever. But here's the point. We don't know what's going on right now. Is it a bear market or is it a correction? A short-lived correction or a possibly protracted bear market? I do think it's a bear market. Now, this could turn out to be real savage and be over quickly, in which case it wouldn't be a bear market anymore. It'd probably be a crash, right? But still, guys, we just don't know at this point. I've been mentioning this for a while now. Stocks are enormously overvalued. Keep in mind, we've seen 3 straight months of declines. And no, I was never convinced. Look me up on the internet. Look at Google News. Type Dave Coker in. I've written articles critical of the hypothesis that the finfluencers and the market pundits say that it's a bull market. It wasn't a bull market, guys. Bull markets start at the bottom. They don't start when price-to-earnings ratios are so skewed. It's absolutely ridiculous to consider this anything but a correction or possibly, high degree of probability, a bear market. And here's an interesting idea. I've never been a fan. And we got this in the channel because somebody stayed in an Airbnb and was shocked, totally shocked. This wasn't her bill, but her bill was very similar. Totally shocked at the cost. Absolutely incredible that you end up paying this money to stay in basically someone's home that they're letting out on a short-term basis. They may not be there, but still, it's somebody's home. And the fundamental problem I've had with Airbnb from the start, I have a property business. I give people a home to live, and I'm a socially responsible landlord. Never raise rent on a sitting tenant. Carry out repairs promptly. Keep the customer happy. And Airbnb, since its outset, has been removing housing stock from the rental market. In other words, they remove housing stock from the rental market and they move it into short-term accommodation. In other words, hotels. And I know a guy in New York who bought the entire apartment building. I think it was 8 units. Managed to get the people out through a mixture of coercion, not pleasant, I suspect, and actual buyouts. He turned it into basically a hotel. It's all Airbnb. Now, he's not licensed to run a hotel. Back then, he was running below the radar of New York City, and now they've put him out of business, and he's sort of whining, right? Because he's out of business, can't run a hotel, a short-term rental business any longer. But no, those are 8 homes that should have gone to people who need homes. You don't do this garbage. So I've had a fundamental problem with Airbnb from the start. And I'm glad that they're starting to get a comeuppance and people are starting to realize what a ripoff it is. Look at the room rate, doesn't sound that bad. Look at the cleaning fee. A service charge and taxes. Can't escape the taxes. What is this cleaning fee garbage? Absolutely incredible. Finally, guys, we've got new optimism in the Bitcoin market. Of course, you know me. I've been buying Bitcoin every Friday for years. Totally optimistic about the market. But guys, I like this. The expression moon, it's going to moon. Yeah, last year. Pluto. Okay, I don't put price targets in place quantitatively, but yeah, you want to know where the price of Bitcoin's going to? It's going to Pluto. I do like that action. That's actually pretty good. I do enjoy that one, right? But yeah, we're starting to see renewed interest and optimism about the cryptocurrency market in general, Bitcoin specifically, because of the possible launch, the possible approval by SEC of a Bitcoin exchange traded fund, ETF, which will sharply increase demand. And at the same time, we know well over 70%, I believe the statistic is 76%, of all Bitcoin that's ever been mined is sitting idle in long-term, in wallets that are holding for the long term. Hello, I control a bunch. Yeah, so we could see a very sharp advance in the price of Bitcoin if they launch an ETF, because they have to back each share of the ETF with the underlying asset, in this case, Bitcoin. So we've got hope here, guys. And finally, keep this in mind. You buy Bitcoin, you should hold on to it forever. When you sell it, when Bitcoin drops below, red bars below a support level, and you dump, you think you're smart, you're getting out, you're being an idiot. The only thing that will happen is other people will come along and buy your Bitcoin at a lower price. If it coincides with a Friday morning, hello, you're selling to me. Buy Bitcoin, hold Bitcoin, never sell Bitcoin. It's exactly what I've been doing for the better part of a decade, guys. And yeah, sometimes people go, oh, you lost all that money. It was at 67,000. You could have sold it and made all that money. I don't care. I don't play that game. That's short-term mentality from small-minded people. I'm playing the long game. I'm not saying I got a big mind. Got a big mouth. But you see my point. Don't ever try to trade any asset, any market-driven asset. And especially considering what's going on in the market right now, Bitcoin. Don't do that. All right, guys, thanks very much for your time. It's been wonderful chatting with you. You're going to have an excellent week coming up. If you don't hold any Bitcoin, get yourself some Bitcoin. Aside from that, buy dividend-paying stocks, buy rental property, and of course, buy Bitcoin for fun. Take care, guys.